Welcome back to my channel, everybody. My name is Marty, and in my last video I put a Bimini on my kayak, which I think turned out pretty good. In this episode I'm going to put that same Bimini on my small fishing boat. This little vessel is big enough for me and my dog. And it's neat having something with a motor on it so I can explore places a little further away and do some fishing while I'm doing it, and maybe even bring home something to eat for dinner. After just a short while drifting along the grass flats and working a mirrodine, I think I was about to get my wish. So I'm out here getting dinner. We're gonna put him on a stringer. I got a frying pan I want to introduce him to. Speaking of frying pan though, it can get really hot out here. You see I got my pup with me, Scratchy boy. Before that sun starts getting too brutal, we're gonna put that Bimini up on this boat and see how it works out. Now that Bimini is supposed to be for a kayak, so in order to put it on a boat, I'm going to have to do some modifications, and that's where starboard comes into play. I'm going to take the bases for the Bimini and trace them out on the starboard, and I'm going to do that twice and then cut them out. What's nice about starboard is it acts just like wood, so I happen to have a wood handsaw. And that's going to work just fine for cutting these pieces out of this stock that I had laying around. This material is very nice. You can sand it, you can cut it, you can shape it. And once I had these pieces cut out, I wanted to round the edges. So I got my angle grinder with an abrasive disc. I got my batteries hung up right there, nice where I can get them. And now it's time to sand them down. And just like wood, it makes a little bit of dust, but it also cleans up very nicely. Now the next thing to do was to get everything kind of straight, because yeah, the edges of the boat are crooked. I wore down one side of it to make it kind of wedge shaped, and I kept shaping it and kept shaping it because the edge of this boat is very narrow and it's kind of rounded. So these were going to make a nice straight base for the supports of the Bimini, and it was also going to kind of curve them in towards each other a little bit, because this boat was about as wide as you could possibly get with this style of small Bimini. It would be ideal to have some sort of quick disconnect so I could remove these bases and put them on whatever vessel I happen to be using that day. But as is, if I want to use the sunshade on this boat, I just need to screw them down, which in the grand scheme of prepping a boat for a day of fishing really is not that big of a deal, especially when it benefits a puppy dog. Now back to having the Intruder out on the water. Bayard is with me. I had already caught dinner, and it was starting to get warm, so I was ready to put up some kind of shade. Before I got this Bimini, I would bring the umbrella out on this boat as well, and I found a stick one day, was able to fit it inside a rod holder and then clamp to that, and as long as the wind was calm like it is right now, it kind of worked pretty good. Yep, come on, there you go. You can see it's off to the side though, and half the shade it's thrown, which isn't really very much, is outside the boat. No problems. We got that new Pelican Bimini, and we'll see how that works. Sorry, we don't need that stick anymore. Do you want it? No? Again, I wouldn't recommend setting this thing up when you're in the boat, but I had the idea that I'd be able to get this done from this vessel, because if I can assemble this that means that I can disassemble it if the weather started getting pretty nutty. That's the theory, at least. Oh man, this is going to be lovely for me, boy. For you, we'll see. I remembered to put all the bad eyes on the boat this time. Score 1 for common sense. However uncommon it may be. Not too bad. I can still get up front easy enough. That's pretty neat. It is throwing a wonderful amount of shade over my chair in the back. Perhaps I could have moved that a little bit further forward, but I wanted to keep the front of the boat empty so I'd be able to fish from up here, cast, and be unencumbered. I do think that's going to work better still though than the umbrella. What do you think, babe? I know it's pretty warm out. Oh, I'm going to get you some water and I'm going to try to catch some fish. Okay, watch it, watch it. Alright, I'm going to try to get my boy some water here. And I think this guy's going to like the shade too. Most important though, summer is coming. And if you're as fascinated with fish as my Labrador is here, that's a spotted sea trout. That's Daddy's dinner. Then I suggest get some kind of boat, get out there and enjoy the water. Let's just give this thing a quick test to see how it holds up while I'm racing around in my small fishing boat. I think that was a pretty successful test. Bimini held up just fine. Now back to catching fish. And yes, I already had a trout for dinner, but up against these trees I had been spotting some redfish. And in order to catch one I was going to throw a mirrodine, but they were really close to the trees. I could see some swimming right there. However, throwing the mirrodine at them has the tendency to make a big splash, and I was feeling doubtful that I was going to trick any of these fish to catch them. They had retreated way under those trees, and those treble hooks getting close, that was going to be tough. And sure enough, the lure landed right on top of the fish and scared him away. This wasn't feeling like I was going to be successful. So I thought to myself, you know what, I would like to use a different lure, and fortunately I had a rod set up with a different lure right there where I could use it. That other rod had a jig head with a swim bait on it, or plastic lure. All I had to do was reach over, grab it, and there would be no tying needed. So right then and there, boom, I had a lure on that I could throw under the trees with more confidence. Throwing a single hook at a tree is a lot better than throwing 2 treble hooks at a tree. Although, it doesn't mean that I won't put it in the tree. Yeah. However, a single hook makes retrieving it a lot easier. Yes, sir. Now, had I been hung up in that tree, I wouldn't have been able to catch this fish that's right in front of me. I see a redfish sitting in a pothole, dead ahead of the boat. So I throw the lure at him, and it lands right in his face. And just like that, he jumps out after it, grabs it, and the fight is on. He started swimming towards me at first, and then he made a beeline for the shade under the trees. I did what I could to pull him out, and he would have had me and the boat and everything in the tree with him had it not been for the Bixby. At my waist I had the little throttle control, and I put the boat in hard reverse. Everything was set just right, the drag and everything, and I was able to pull him out into open water. Then I switched from reverse to forward and followed him out. Just in time for Mr. Redfish to get real tired. Seeing a fish, throwing a lure at him, man, that's pretty much the pinnacle of sight fishing and fishing in general here in Florida, I think. This guy can't catch fish. I guess there's no fish here. It's all about being patient and quiet sometimes. And you know, when you're fishing in 2 foot of water, you don't need a 30-foot boat with a 300 horsepower motor. But that's just my opinion, I guess. Catch a bigger fish. Now redfish tastes really good, better than trout, I think. So I have me some more dinner. I want to net this guy, I think. And I was able to do it without a terrible mess with this Bimini. You can see it hangs me up there a little bit. All in all, I think this worked out pretty darn good. Having shade today was nice, but so was having a net. Oh, you see that hook pop out of his mouth? I might not have landed this beautiful fish if I hadn't had a net with me. So I was glad today that I had both a net and a Bimini. Yep. Made in the shade, we got it, babe. Now before I put this guy on a stringer with the trout, I wanted to make sure he was big enough, and under the seat here I had a measuring device. It's crazy. I saw that fish sitting there, threw a lure at him, you came up and grabbed it. 18, 27, he is about 20, that is dinner size. Now normally I only bring home what I can eat, and that's, you know, 1 fish for me is enough, but these 2 fish, I'd have them eaten before I ever had to freeze them. And if I ever did want another fish, I had a perfect little vessel to get out here and a way to keep my best friend there in the shade. That's pretty wonderful. You can see us on the way back here. This was the heat of the day, and the boat was positioned just right to keep him perfectly in the shade. Yep, love this boy. Love my little boat. Thanks to all you guys for coming along on my adventures. See you next time.